Hello viewers, and welcome to my first new blog of the new year then. Catching up, been a few more videos on the channel recently. Unfortunately I was unwell in December, knocked out a couple of videos early on. We had the blog and the crew stuff, but not nearly as much as I wanted to cover, and I haven't had a chance to get back on the crew since. So one of the games I'm going to be focusing on in the next few weeks is the crew. I've been putting up some regular content. You'll have seen the Dirt coverage recently, just getting back to the swing of things, and still enjoying the triple screens. A few people asked about Dirt. Once I try to go online and get a Windows update and it doesn't apply properly, so a few people asked about that. I'm just playing that game offline at the moment, but still great fun to play and just enjoy some of those trailblazers as well. I know they're loud. I intentionally did them loud. I just thought it was just something different, something to wake people up a bit. And captures people a bit more on Facebook as well. So yeah, we're running videos now on Facebook as well as YouTube, and there's been lots of news happening as well in the new year, so I just thought I'd have a little ramble about that. Obviously we had the Forza 6 announcement. That came as quite a surprise in terms of timing. We wasn't expecting anything really till close to E3. Will Forza 6 be good? Yes. So will it be much better than Forza 5? Absolutely. I mean, Forza 5 was a game made in a short time frame for the launch of the Xbox One. They had to learn how to use the hardware, and I think they did a cracking job with what they had available. But should they have used Forza to launch it? Would it have been better to have been a sort of a Forza Special Edition? Probably, looking back in hindsight, I would have told them that at the time. It would have been better to have brought in a different brand just for that launch rather than calling it Forza 5. But either way, I think Forza 6 will bring the entire project back on track. The announcement comes at a strange time because we're sort of well in the life of Forza Horizon 2 at the moment, and it sort of interferes with that in terms of branding from a certain perspective. Whether someone will agree with me at Turn 10 or Playground Games is up to them, but normally you like to give the life cycle of your product a bit more time in January to get through sales after Christmas. So in that sense, they've been dictated to by Ford and the car launch. Now, I suppose what's really preempted that is the fact that, hey, you know, we're launching with a car, and a car company has said we're proud to launch with this video game. Much like Rolls-Royce last year, you know, that was a big announcement. It was a big announcement that people realised because it was another moment where the motor industry has stood up and taken notice of what's happening in the world of video games, in terms of the technology and how the games look, but also in terms of how games are influencing actual car sales as well. Having said that, whether it's good that games are dictated to by other industries, really perhaps the games industry should get actually move to a point where it's dictating what's happening in motor world as well. Let's see what happens in the future for that. But either way, big game to look forward to later this year, and I'm sure it's going to be very impressive indeed, so I won't worry about that one. Elsewhere, we've got the new Drive Club circuit on the way as well, the Japanese one. Looks nice. Roads look a bit wide to me. Now, we've talked about this before, that the game isn't perhaps as challenging from a handling perspective as it could be. I don't have the game. Martin has it. He's been playing it, and no doubt he'll give me some feedback on it later. But just from a visual perspective, the roads are quite wide, and I would expect the mountain roads to have been a lot narrower. I think it would have certainly enhanced the challenge and sort of the level of perfection required in really maximising each circuit. So I think it's done away with a little bit of the skill there, but either way, that's something to look forward to. Last month we put up the footage on Ride. Looking forward to more on that. They're revealing more bikes all the time. Comes out on the 20th of March. It's not much time, you know, given the fact that all we've seen is practically is a tech demo at the moment. Milestone is certainly limiting the amount of time they have to make the game. Will that affect the game in terms of its final quality? Who knows? A lot of pieces tend to come together late in the day, so I'm expecting them to have all the bikes and circuits ready, but it just in terms of optimization, it'll be interesting to see what they have. And of course they have the Sebastian Loeb Rally coming out later in the year. Talking of rally, of course, obviously I've already mentioned the Dirt. We're looking forward to the Dirt 4 news, and of course Martin put up his WRC the game on the Nintendo DS, which looked rubbish. Basically, wasn't really very impressive at all. I look forward to what Dirt 4 is going to be at the moment. I think it may not even be called Dirt 4. It could be called something else. But either way, I think it's going to be impressive. I think it's really going to tick the boxes for the fans. It could be the closest thing to Richard Burns Rally since Richard Burns Rally. So certainly sounds positive there. Lots of positive sounds. Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing about F1 2015 as well. Now, originally there was meant to be some mentions of it last year. That's sort of been delayed, or I remember there was a blog post somewhere on the official Codemasters blog that perhaps gave the impression that we'd be hearing something about F1 2015 earlier than we have. We haven't heard anything yet, but we'll wait and see on that. Elsewhere, news on the channel, you're going to see some videos of a recent amusement show I visited. Some of the new racing games I've been testing out. Dirt Showdown was there as well, the arcade machines, I've been playing that, and it's just something different from racing games, but I'm into the triple screen display. I'm going to be covering some VR stuff later in the year and looking at how to maximize triple screens in the VR. Really like the cabinet they're using on the new Star Wars arcade game, very impressive. It's actually based on an old Namco Starblade game. It would be awesome for racing games if someone changed it into that as well. It's a patented technology by Namco, but I'm going to be putting that video up on the channel because it's awesome and because I like a bit of Star Wars as well. So that's going to be coming up in the next week, along with some of the other arcade bits and pieces as well. And other than that, do check out the website. You'll see videos there. Of course, Steve Benway's been putting up his usual coverage, retro coverage, which you can look forward to seeing on the channel. I need to get onto from Forza Horizon 2 coverage. That's a game that sort of slipped past me last year. I just didn't have the time. I was away when it came out, kind of missed the boat with it. So I'm a long way behind, but that's something I've got to get onto. But first, got to catch up on the crew as well and open some of that map up. How are you all finding the crew, actually? For those of you who are regular players and stuck with it, how are you finding the crew on the different formats? Certainly on the PC, it runs nice and smoothly, 60 frames per second. Works really well for me, so I look forward to seeing how that turns out as well. But that's it from me for now on this video. I thought I'd just have a little ramble about some of what's been coming up on the channel, some of what you can look forward to, and there'll be more from me very soon.